So in this video, I will show you how to extract your LinkedIn profile viewers. So you will see what is a profile viewer, why it's very important to reach out to these people, how to identify your best leads in your profile viewers, what kind of messages is good to send to them, and at the end I will show you how to easily extract these profile viewers into a clean list of leads where you have all the data you need to reach out to them, and with of course their verified emails. So let's go on my computer. Alright, so we are currently on my LinkedIn account, and if I want to see my profile viewers, I have to click here on the left, profile viewers. So here I have access to this page because I have a LinkedIn paid plan. If you are on the LinkedIn free plan, you will not have access to people who saw your profile recently. So on this page, I have on top some filters, and here I have the number of people who saw my profile during the past 90 days. So I have more than 1,200 people who saw my profile during the last 90 days. So here, as you can see, I have a graph, and here during this week I had a peak to 700 people, and I had this peak of viewers because one of my LinkedIn posts just blew up. If I scroll a little bit, I have access to all the people that have seen my profile recently. So of course I can send a message to the people, I can send a connection request and so on, or even I can accept their connection request if they send me a connection request. On top, I can click on all filters, and here I can modify, for example, the date range. I have interesting viewers, company, industry, location, and actually that's all. So for example, let's say that I want to filter people who are in the industry advertising services. I click on show results. And here I have more than 100 people who saw my profile during the last 90 days, and these people are currently in the advertising services industry, and I have the list of all of these people. So for example, Edwin, I can just accept his connection request. Perfect. So as you can see with this page, we don't have that much filter. So for example, if you want to reach out to only people who are, let's say, founder or CEO, you don't have this filter. And don't worry if you want to do that, because at the end of the video, I will show you how to filter your profile viewers properly. Now, I just want to talk about how important it is to reach out to these people. And basically, these people, so your profile viewers, have seen your profile. So it means that they know your first name, last name, maybe your profile picture. They may have a good idea of what you do. So when you reach out to these people, you will have a much higher reply rate just because they already saw you at least once. So when you do some outreach, it's very important to reach out to these people because you will have like between 20 to 40% replies rate, which is much higher compared to cold outreach where you have, it depends if you use cold email and cold DMs on LinkedIn. But for example, cold DM, you have between 8 to 20% reply rate. So that's why it's very important to identify these people and send them a message. Now, the next topic I want to cover is how to identify leads in your profile viewers. So as you can see here on LinkedIn, you have some filters, but it's not enough if you want a more precise targeting. And that's why I recommend you to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to filter these leads properly. So we are currently on LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and to retrieve the people who saw my profile recently, all I have to do is to click here on lead filter, and then on the left part of my screen I have all the filters that you have on Sales Navigator, and on the right part of my screen I will have all the people that match my criteria. And I say match in quotes because LinkedIn Sales Navigator gives you between 20 to 50% of people that don't match perfectly your filters. And that's one of the reasons why you need a third-party tool, first to extract the leads from Sales Navigator, and second to make sure that every single lead match perfectly your criteria. So let's go back to Sales Navigator, and to get people who saw your profile recently, you have to use this filter filter here, viewed your profile recently, and I have to click here. On the top right of my screen, I have the number of people who saw my profile recently. Here I have 73 results. And why 73 and not 1000 and so on? Because I'm currently using the Sales Navigator account of my co-founder. So on the right part of my screen, we have all the people that saw my profile recently. So if you want to target leads that are interesting for you, you have to use some more filters. So for example, you can use company headcount. Let's say that you only work with small companies, or maybe just the opposite. You only work with big companies, and you can use the current job title filter. And this one is very useful because you can filter the leads based on their job title. So for example, you just want to reach out to people who are CEO or founder. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. So we want to reach out to people who are CEO or founder. And I just press enter. And on the right, you will see that I have 31 results. So it means that from people who saw my profile recently, I have 31 results from people who are CEO or founder. And of course, as I told you, I can add some more filters. So for example, I want people based in North America, and I have 20 results. So of course, you can use the filters you want to narrow down your search. So of course, depending of your target, you will use some filters. And if you are not sure which filter is the best for you, I made a 1-hour masterclass on YouTube. It took me 3 weeks to do this masterclass. And if you want to check this masterclass, you can click on the top right of your screen. Now let's have a look at 2 messages you can send to people who saw your profile recently. So as I told you, it's very important to send a message to these people, because from these people, so people who saw your profile recently, you will find warm leads. So the easiest and quickest way to send a message to these people are these 2 messages. So the first message is by far my favorite one. It's like, "Hey Vincent, so you visited my profile. Anything I can help with?" And the second one is, "Hey Vincent, thanks for checking out my profile. I'm curious what caught your eye." So with these 2 examples, you start a conversation with the leads, and because they saw your profile, they will much likely reply to your message. So as you can see, the first part of the 2 options, it's just like, I saw you viewed my profile, and then you just ask a question and you want them to answer, "Yes, I saw that you are doing some copywriting stuff," and so on. And then you can start to send some DMs and then try to book a call with the lead. So with this, there is nothing fancy at all, but it works very well, because if someone is interested about what you are doing, they will tell you by message that they are interested about what you're doing, and then you can bring them to a call. That's why I really recommend you to keep these messages short, natural, and just the goal is to start a conversation, because don't forget that these people are warm leads. Alright, so now that you know how to find your good leads from people who saw your profile recently using Sales Navigator, and now that you know how to start a conversation with these people, it's time to export the leads from Sales Navigator into a clean leads file. So on Sales Navigator, you can't export these leads natively, so you don't have a button saying export the leads. The second problem is that sometimes you have people who don't match perfectly your criteria. And finally, the last problem is that you don't have the verified email of these leads. So if you want to easily export your leads and get a clean leads file, I recommend you to use our tool Give Me Leads. So you can click in the first link in the description, you do the quick onboarding, and then at the end you will get a file like this one, where you have all the data that comes from LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So here basically is my search. So we have Jordan Finger here is here, Mike Weiss here is the second one, and so on. So on this file, you have all the data you need to put these leads into your CRM or even to upload it in your favorite outreach tool. So you have first name, last name, company name, job title, LinkedIn URL, and verified email. Sales Navigator gives you some bad results, so we make sure that every single lead match your criteria. So here we have founder or we have CEO, co-founder, founder, CEO, founder. So you only have people you want to reach out to. So if you want to easily export your leads, you can click in the first link in the description. I strongly recommend you to reach out to people who saw your profile recently. You don't need to post on LinkedIn to have people who see your profile, so you don't have any excuse to reach out to these people. So now it's time for me to wish you a nice day, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye.